Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to the shed. How are you today? I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. I'm doing okay. Took yesterday off, sat at home, played games, talked to you. Don't feel great today. Still feeling a little bit funny. So I initially thought that it was food poisoning. I don't think that anymore. I think it was like one of those weird stomach flus. Because I'm still not feeling it. Probably going to miss game night tonight. Which sucks. I don't enjoy missing game night. I really need that that interaction, that group. So today I thought we'd talk about unconditional love. I think that I have an unconditional love for board games and the people that I play board games with, and yeah. So anyway, unconditional love was a topic suggested by one of you, and it's a topic. It's a thing that's really easy to understand, but really hard to describe. Like, there are people in my life that I don't like as people, but I still love them. And I will still care for them and help them in times of need, regardless of how I feel about them. And that's kind of the definition of unconditional love. It happens, most people often refer to it between parents and children, you know. Parents unconditionally love their children, and we hope that our children unconditionally love us, or we demand that they unconditionally love. Demand is not the word that I would use, but there are people who expect to be loved in return. And I don't know if you've seen, I don't know the name of the movie, and there was a movie that came out or is coming out recently with Denzel Washington. And I've watched the trailer a bunch because it was like really hot on YouTube for a while. That trailer would show. And it's one of the few ads that I would watch all the way through each time. Because the trailer was super powerful. And it was, you know, essentially Denzel Washington, his son, finally approaching him, like, why don't you love me? And he's like, love you, you know, or like me. He's like you. There's nothing in this contract that says I have to like you. And, you know, he talks about how he's provided for him and the roof and the food and the clothing. He's like, there's nowhere does it say I have to like you. It's true. It's a hard thing to hear. But it's the truth. And that is how I feel about my children. I absolutely love my children, and I still currently like them. They haven't done anything yet that's going to cause me to dislike them. I can remember growing up, my mother always telling me, I don't like you very much right now. I love you, but I don't like you very much right now. And I didn't understand that because it was kind of like, that's, you know, when we were in school and we made the do you like me checkbox. Check yes or no, and pass it. That's what we meant, right? Like, we meant, do you love me? Do you love being around me? Do you like being around me? But as you grow older and you realize you have your children, you realize that there's this love that cannot be duplicated just by force of will. I don't know. Maybe it can. Maybe it's possible to love somebody like they're your child. But I know the love that I have for my children is exceptionally different from the love I've ever had for anything else in my life. And it's a powerful thing. We got a call. Let's just listen to this call because I'm just yammering.
Hey Chevee, this is Jay.
Hi Jay.
Saw your request for thoughts on unconditional love.
I saw that you saw that.
That's a mighty big box to unpack in 10-15 minutes, but
yes, it is.
I'll give you some 2 cents that I could figure. When it comes to unconditional love, I think there's still an important distinction between what you consider liking someone and loving somebody. You can love folks and still not like them. It happens with children and relatives all the time. And ultimately, that's probably the closest you can get to unconditional. It's still just loving them, no matter what they do. but you don't necessarily have to like everything they do.
That's for sure.
That's my 2 cents, keeping it short. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Jay. Thanks for the call. Yeah, that is exactly what I was just saying. The love between a parent and their children is, it's just, I've heard stories, maybe fictionalized, but also probably some true stories about parents who have helped children escape the law, or who have held their children's innocence when nobody believed them. And they're like, how can you do that? Well, that's my kid. Like, that's my duty as a parent, is to love them and to believe in them. And I would love to say that if my children did something horrendously criminal, that I would hold them accountable for it and not try to harbor them or whatever. But I don't know, because I've never been in that situation. I do know that my unconditional love for them means that no matter how much they try to hurt me, and sometimes they do, my oldest is 12, and she says things sometimes that are intentionally hurtful. And I try not to. It's not even that. It's not even that I have to try not to let it get to me. It just doesn't, because I love the kid, and I know that that's just part of the whole process, right? Part of the growing up process. And I think that maybe that's the kicker. Maybe is knowing that what they're doing is not a reflection of you, or is not directed towards you intentionally, is the kicker that causes you to have unconditional love for someone. Thomas Chidester tweeted and said, "Oh, great, we're talking about dogs." Yes, Thomas, we are talking about dogs too, because dogs, people say the bond that you share with your pets is unconditional, and I semi-agree with that. Like, I think it's possible for a dog to turn on its owner if its owner's an asshole. I've seen it happen. But yes, dogs do. My dogs in particular love me 100% of the time. They're attached to me all the time. And I have unconditional love for them. I don't, even when they screw up and they poop in the house, I still hug them and clean up, and it's okay. It's normal. So I would love to hear your unconditional love stories. I'm still at the point where I have a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I'm getting, the 12-year-old is moving into that zone where she's starting to do things that are rebellious, and she's testing the waters. So I still haven't, we're not at that point yet in parenting where I've hit the unconditional, like, let's test my unconditional love. So I would love to know what I'm looking out for, or what do I have to look forward to, is what I should say. What sort of tests are coming for me? I would love to hear what you have to say about anything concerning unconditional love in the comments down below. I would love to hear any topics that you want to suggest for the future, either in the comments to my email, cheveedailyched.com, or to the phone line, 304-602-7433. Please call in. Please let me know what's up. I love hearing from you guys every single day. It's the reason I come down here. It's the reason I turn the camera on. I sit down and talk, is because the conversations that we have are, I unconditionally love them. I'm in love with doing this show, with reaching through the internet, through the camera, through a boundary that is typically used to troll and to be disassociative. I love reaching through this medium and making relationships and talking to you and being a part of your life, and you allowing me to be a part of your life. So thank you for that. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being here. I love you very much. I will see you tomorrow.
Hey, Doc, wait! I want to ask you something.
Today's random fact comes from ushistory.org. Who was the oldest signer of the Declaration of Independence? The first, largest, and most famous signature is that of John Hancock, President of the Continental Congress. The youngest signer was Edward Rutledge, age 26. And Benjamin Franklin, age 70, was the oldest. So at that time, age 26 was... That's young. I don't even think you can be president until you're 35.